Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Stop.Sit.Surrogate with Kennedy and Ellen.
Hello.
We are here with another fellow surrogate. You guys probably follow her on her she has got two accounts. So do you want to
Yeah.
introduce yourself?
I'm Ashley. I am one half of the Biggest Ask, and I also have my own Instagram account that is Surrogacy of Hope, where I share my own personal journey. But on the Biggest Ask, we share educational stuff, and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I love it. So then,
Wait, can I ask a question?
sure.
When did you start this Biggest Ask? When did that
Well, MJ, who is the founder of the Biggest Ask, she started it, I believe, must have been close to 2 years ago, but
Okay.
I've been with her for a year. So she started it after she started going through her own surrogacy journey and realized there was a lot of flaws, a lot of reading on things and not finding a lot of great information. And so she started this account to help educate people, and kind of also educate people to be able to do independent journeys if they wanted to feel more comfortable doing independent journeys and not think it's so scary, because it's not if you educate enough. And so then she reached out to me after she featured me as one of her first surrogate of the months, and I just kind of kept being like one of her bigger fangirls. And she's like, "Do you want to work with me?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, I want to work with you."
Oh,
Like,
that's
this is so.
fun.
And so now we're like family. We're
that.
very, very close, and we just bust our butts to run this account for surrogates and intended parents, and we're trying to build a beautiful community where everyone feels safe and comfortable
Right.
asking questions. And
Right.
Yeah.
And we're just going to piggyback on top of y'all and just help with that, because that's,
yes,
we're
yes,
probably nowhere near as big as you guys are, but we just got to talking and we're like, heck, there's too much that people
yes,
don't know about this. And
Mhm.
I think way more women would do surrogacy if they could just get it demystified and kind of understand that it's not this taboo thing, or
Mhm.
that
yes,
you do have an opportunity to speak up. You do have a
yes,
voice, so use it.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So sorry. I just needed to figure out
No, you're
where all
good.
that came from.
You're okay.
All right.
I
Okay.
always wondered that too. So good job,
Okay.
Mom.
Yay. Okay.
But how did you find out about surrogacy? Did you grow up with it or
Yeah.
come across it?
I never really grew up with it, but I'm obviously like, I feel like everyone's kind of generic answers. I saw it on Friends with Phoebe, like when they were younger. I'm obsessed with the show Friends. I still watch it every night as I fall asleep. Like, it is
Same.
my show. Yes, yes. So I just feel like I'm starting to hear that that's a lot of surrogates answers. Like, that was their first like peek at it, and it
Yeah.
is actually incredibly flawed in the show. However, it was like my first like, okay, this is cool. And then
Yeah, that's
I
funny.
always loved babies. I didn't
Yeah.
obviously know how I was going to be pregnant, but I had my daughter when I was 18. I
Okay.
had the easiest pregnancy. I feel like I was never a happier woman than when I had like this
Aw.
big old bump, and like just the birth experience, everything was just so beautiful. And so I just thought I want to do that one day. Well, then fast forward,
Yeah.
my daughter was 9 when my wife and I decided we wanted to have one more kiddo. So my daughter's from a previous marriage with I was with a man. So this
Yes.
time we needed a sperm donor.
Yes.
We started looking at sperm banks and all this stuff. It was just felt so overwhelming. And then a really good friend of ours offered to be our sperm donor.
Oh, got
Um,
chills.
I love
That's super
that.
yes,
cool.
yes.
Super
And
cool.
so um I really I did realize the magnitude of what he did for us, of course, but once my son was in my arms is when I really was like, I was just like sobbing. If it weren't for someone else helping us, we would never have this perfect baby boy. And I was just like, I want to help someone else the way that he helped us. And that night, my son was not even 3 months old. I signed up to be a surrogate, and I knew not a whole lot about it. So I just
Yeah.
was like, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you carry your son, or
Yes,
did your wife? You did?
I
Okay.
did. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So I carried both, and both my daughter and my son were both really easy pregnancies.
Yeah.
No complications whatsoever.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
And so I did have an ectopic pregnancy before my son
Okay.
with the same sperm donor, but I lost a tube in first try with my son. I got pregnant again, and so it was just even heavier. That like, thankful to
Yeah.
have him,
Yeah.
and I just wanted to help someone else the way that our sperm donor helped us.
Oh
So
my
that's what
God.
made me decide to
Awesome.
finally do it.
I love that. So then did you like do research online? Did you go with the first agency you found?
So I had talked to a coworker of my wife's. his wife had been a surrogate like many, many, many years before. And we had talked about it briefly, and she mentioned going with an agency that's like 2.5 hours away from us. And
Okay.
so, like I said, I didn't do that much research about it. I'm just like, I'm gonna do this. And so I
Okay.
just signed with, I didn't know at the time you could sign with like agencies anywhere. So I just signed with one that was kind of near me, but
Local.
learned very quickly. I mean, they weren't that, I never even had to go there. So I
Oh,
learned very quickly that I never actually needed to live near the agency, but it turned out to be a good agency for my
Okay.
first journey. So
Oh,
Good.
good. Awesome.
Good.
Okay.
Wow.
So then going into it, did you know that you wanted to do that? Because you said that, did you know what kind of IPs you wanted to work with?
yeah, for my first journey, I was actually kind of a little bit pickier. Like I kind of had in my head that I wanted to do this for a same-sex male couple. Um, and I don't know really why or how to explain it. I just like that's
Mm.
kind of where my mind went when I decided that I wanted to do this. And so that's kind of what I put for my preference.
Could it have any, I mean, just subliminally, like could it have anything to do with that, you and your wife tried to have a baby and someone helped you and
Yeah.
they're in like kind of in the same boat because they don't have the uterus,
Right. They don't, right.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it could be that. And then I was just also like, I just had this vision of like having the most adorable, like gay
Relationship.
couple.
Yeah.
Like
I love
I
it.
was like, how could you possibly find anything cuter? And I was like,
Right.
this is what I want to do. And like that was my first match that was presented to me.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
my
wow.
intended fathers for my first journey are like ex models, and they're like, I don't know if you've ever seen them, Kennedy, like on my
I
Facebook, they
I
are.
have, yeah.
So like when I got their pictures, I was like, could this have been like it was taken out of my dreams? Like
Yeah.
this is what, like this
Wow.
beautiful gay
Oh
male
my
couple. And
gosh.
Awesome.
yeah, the whole thing was beautiful. So
Oh my
That's
gosh. So
cool.
they were the first couple given to you, like, hey, look at them. And you were like,
yes,
yeah, great.
Okay.
yeah, they said this was like they felt like this would be a good match, and they presented them to me. And
Sure.
I guess they hadn't been on the wait list that long actually. And when I signed, the matching coordinator was like, this will be a good match. So
Nice.
Oh, great. Okay.
yeah.
So then for your IVF part, was that local?
No, so I went to San Diego for my I went to the San Diego Fertility Center for all the IVF stuff, but my monitoring appointments were here. Were local. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
But for med screening and then embryo transfer, I went to San Diego.
Oh,
Okay.
wow. And
Yeah.
are they states or are they international?
My intended fathers, they live
Yeah.
in Switzerland.
That's the
Oh, I'm
Switzerland.
sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah. Right.
That's okay.
Okay. So wow. So did they travel out here for like appointments and stuff or just for birth?
No, just for the birth. They actually didn't end up
Sure.
making it on time for birth because I had ended up having them early, but they came after the birth. It was just too, it was too much of
Yeah.
a travel thing.
Yeah.
But
And were you in
we
COVID when that was happening? I'm trying to go back in my mind. Okay.
no, so I actually had them January 2020, and I
Oh,
think the
wow.
shutdown was like beginning of March.
March.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So
I
they got
kind of
here.
lucky with that. Yeah, they got here.
Okay. Cool.
Wow. And they got to take them home.
Yes, but they lived with us for 3 months because they couldn't get home because of COVID. So we let them live with us for 3 months
That's
Oh my gosh.
until they could get home.
Okay, wait, let's talk about your journey.
Yeah, that
and-
has to be talked about.
Yeah,
and
we
then
can
we'll
come
talk
back
about
to that.
Oh my God.
That's crazy.
Oh my God.
Okay. So
Wow.
so you did your IVF and stuff like that. But so on the embryo transfer, did it take the first time?
Yes.
And how
they
many
did.
how many eggs?
They did 2 embryos,
They did.
one from each dad.
Oh, so
Oh, so cool.
Yes.
love it.
And both stuck. So that
Love it.
was
Love it. That's
Oh,
very cool.
that's so awesome.
And you were
yeah.
receptive to multiples in the beginning, like, or does that something that
Yes.
needed to be talked about? Okay.
No, for my first journey, I was actually like, I always kind of hoped, like, I always kind of wished I would have twins because I just thought it'd be really cool to experience. And then when I never had twins, so I was like, this would be really cool to experience
Okay.
what it's like to carry twins. So I said yes pretty quickly when they asked if I'd be willing to transfer 2
Okay.
embryos.
So how different was that for you from carrying a singleton?
Yeah.
I don't feel like it was that much different. I didn't get like my belly didn't get that big. Like people could never believe I was pregnant with twins. I definitely felt a lot more movement. I had horrible heartburn because there was just a lot of pressure. So I'd have to like sleep sitting up. My wife would sleep sitting up so I could sleep on her chest, so she would sleep sitting straight up and down, so that I could, because I would just like I couldn't sleep because I had such bad acid reflux. But otherwise, it wasn't like, I just don't feel like it was anything that crazy, other than the fact that I ended up having to have a C-section. Like
I
that
was
was the
gonna-
only difference
I was
for
going to
me.
ask you, what was
Yeah.
it, a C-section kind of towards the end, or was that planned? It was,
So it wasn't going to be planned unless so twin B was the baby girl and she was breech.
okay.
And so they said if she didn't flip, that it was, I could try to have them naturally, but and that she may follow her brother and flip and come out with him
Right.
and follow him. But if she didn't, that she could get stuck, and then I would have I would have to be rushed to it, like have him vaginally and then have her C-section, and
Oh gosh.
it could risk her not even making it. And I was like,
Right.
nope, my intended fathers have been through enough to get to this
Yeah.
point.
Ah,
Like we're just gonna do this. And so when I ended up in labor at 33 weeks, 6 days,
okay.
they tried to stop labor. There was nothing bad happening. There was
Yeah.
no complications.
Right.
None of the babies were in distress or anything. It was just they were ready.
Yeah.
And she was still breech. So
Okay.
they were just like, let's go for the C-section.
Good.
And so yeah, it was not as beautiful as having,
Yeah.
vaginal births, but it was the safest. So
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
And end of day, it's healthy mom, healthy baby, or babies, and that's what we
Yes.
want. That's what everybody
Yeah.
wants. Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah,
No,
so
power
that's
to
why
you.
I ended. That's
Woo.
the only thing I would say was like the biggest difference.
Yeah. No, that
Golly.
makes sense. So then for your relationship with well, let's go with your agency first. So like how did that go? Like it was kind of just like they did was it like just like a match and then you guys were set to be on your own because you guys had such a good relationship, or were they involved throughout the journey?
The agency that I was with was actually very hands-on, which I feel like I got lucky with, especially not doing a lot of research beforehand because I've heard such horror stories.
Right.
I had a coordinator who like pretty much, I mean, I got multiple emails from her every week checking in, like saying, here's what's going to be happening this week, right? Like just checking in with you. Like she was very sweet and would check in on my family also, would
Aw.
ask if I like had talked to the intended fathers and things like that. So I feel like they were really involved, and I did get lucky with that. And then on top of that, I was messaging my intended parents separately. So
Right.
like we were talking, and the agency was pretty supportive throughout the journey too.
Oh, good.
So yeah, I got lucky with that, I feel like.
Yeah,
Was your
no.
agency part of your match meeting? So like once you both just like you got their profile, and so did you Zoom, or they didn't come in for
Yeah.
that, did they? Okay.
Yeah, so we had a Zoom, and it was me and my wife, the intended fathers, and then there was a coordinator from the agency in the Zoom as well.
Okay. And they were
Yeah.
on for the whole call, or did they
Yes.
kind of let you go? They were. Okay.
They were on the call. They basically they didn't say much, but
Yeah.
if like I think they're there if there's like a silence or like people don't know what to ask or say, they kind of like help. But like me and
Yeah.
my intended fathers like didn't shut up. I think we ended up taking up like way more time than they had allocated for us. They were like, okay, well, you guys are gonna have time to talk, but we have to get off.
Oh,
We
how
were like,
funny.
okay.
That's funny. Okay.
No, that's good.
That is
Yeah,
good.
it was good.
Yeah.
It was good.
Oh.
It was really good.
Very
That's
nice.
amazing. Sorry, I'm looking at my thing because sometimes I forget.
So I need to ask a question though. I want to jump in. Your daughter was 9 when you decided to have your son. Yes.
Yes.
So how old was she when you did your first surrogacy?
She must have been then 10.
How did she do? How did
yeah.
She was really great about it from the very beginning. She was old enough to understand it. She just thought it was really cool, and like she would talk to my belly all the time and tell them that their daddies, like tell them about their daddies, and
Sweet.
and yeah, like she just really embraced it. And she would also talk to my intended fathers pretty often. And then when they came here, like she was just very sweet with the babies when they were born. And I mean, now they're like my kids' uncles. Like
Aw.
they're such close family now that like
Yeah.
she doesn't even, like I feel like she can't see it any other way than them being in our life now. And so, and surrogacy is just like
Yeah.
second nature for her now now that I've done it and I work with it, and
Yeah.
she hears about it all the
All
time.
the
All
time.
the time.
Aw.
Right.
Gives me a lot of crap for my reels and things like my TikToks and my reels.
Well, because she's like, is she preteen or teenager now?
13, yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
So
boy,
she's
there we go.
She's
Mhm.
gonna.
always like, if I'm like talking to my phone or talking on stories, she's like, "Get it, queen," or whatever. Like,
Oh my God, how cute.
Oh,
she's like,
no.
you little influencer mom." I'm like, yeah,
Oh, that's
just doing it
hilarious.
for the gram.
That's
Oh
so
my God.
cute. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
but she's supportive. She's supportive. She doesn't. She like
That's
her friends will be like, "I saw your mom on TikTok," and she's like, "Yeah, yeah, you did."
She's like,
funny.
whatever.
Because most, I mean, if you ask surrogates, most of their kids are tiny. I want to say
Yeah,
maybe 5 and under when they're doing
yeah,
surrogacy. So to have one that's older and understands and can
yeah.
actually converse with you about it and give
Yeah,
you kind of
actually
crap for it.
she did a reel or a TikTok with me when I first started with the biggest ask, like answering a bunch of questions like from
Oh,
her perspective about
yeah.
surrogacy. And I feel like it was like really cute just to hear from her. Like, was
Yeah.
it weird for you that your mom carried babies that weren't going to be related to you? Like, did you have a hard time? What do you think
Right.
about surrogacy? And it was like
Right.
really cute that she did like a dance
Oh,
and answered a bunch of questions. It was cute.
oh, that's
Oh,
so
But my
sweet.
son is only 4, so he doesn't,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, he doesn't really understand it.
Yeah.
So,
So for
yeah,
this one, it'll be kind of interesting because he was way littler for when you did
yeah,
the 2 and right. He was probably
yeah,
under 2. Yeah. Okay.
yes,
If they're two and a
yeah,
half. Yeah. Yeah. So
yeah,
that'll be interesting to see how he
yeah.
reacts. Okay.
yeah, yeah,
When I have a question really quick, I want to go back to the hospital. When
yeah,
the babies were born, did the
yeah.
couple get there the same day or the next day?
They
No.
didn't get there till the next day.
Okay, then pause. How did your whole delivery go down?
So one morning I woke up and I was having back pain and like lower back pain, and I was just like, I have a really high pain tolerance. So my wife always knows, like, if something's weird with you, it's not good. Like something's not
Wrong.
good. And
Yeah.
so she was like, I think you need to call the clinic or whatever. And I was like, well, I'm just having some lower back pain. Like I
Mm,
just feel off. Like I wasn't in a lot of pain. I just didn't feel like great, but I
yeah.
wasn't sick. And so she had me call, and I
Mm,
called and told them, and they had me come in to get checked. And I was keeping my intended fathers in the loop the whole time.
yeah.
I went in and they were like, "You're literally having like insane contractions." But like my pain
Oh,
tolerance is so high, I couldn't feel a single one.
oh my
Right.
Like
gosh.
they hooked me up to the monitors and like the contractions were like spiking off the thing. And the
Whoa.
nurse was like, "Do you feel that?" I'm like, "No." Like I feel like my belly's tightening a little bit, but I feel no pain. And so she was like,
Wow.
"This is freakish. Like what is going on?" I'm like, I just don't feel it." And so then they started giving me, I can never remember the name
Oh,
of them. I need to look back.
they gave
They
it
gave
to
me
me
these
too
red pills.
to stop the contractions.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't
Oh my
I
gosh.
don't
Did it
remember the
make you
name.
hallucinate in any way? Did it make you get kind of
No, but
spacey?
it made
No.
me like
Hot?
I puffed up, like
Yeah.
swollen, and
Yeah.
my
Oh,
whole body was like beet red.
Yes.
And they gave me the max amount that they could give me. And I have a video that I took for my intended fathers. Like, so they gave me all these meds, and my face is just like,
Oh,
and I'm like so red. Like I look like,
oh.
I don't know, I look like somebody put a fat suit on me because I was
Yeah.
so swollen.
Yeah.
Um, and they were like, "We gave you the max and the contractions aren't stopping, so these babies are ready. Like,
Yeah.
oh
here we
gosh.
go." And I was like, "Oh
Wow.
my gosh." And so my wife was like, it was the middle of the night in Switzerland. And so my wife is like calling and calling and calling and
Oh,
calling. And the second I was about to walk into the double doors for the C-section, they finally woke up and called back.
oh my gosh.
That's
And so she
stressful.
was able to tell them, yeah, because
Yeah.
I was like, I kept asking her, "Are you calling them? Did you get a hold of them? Did you get
Oh
a
my
hold of
God.
them?" And as I was walking in, they called, and she's like, "She's going in for the C-section now." And they were like, "Okay, we'll stay awake." And so she was
Oh,
able to send them all the pictures and
Oh
everything. And
gosh.
they were like trying to finish packing their bags
yeah.
and
Yeah.
change their flight for as soon as they could. And they felt so bad. They're like, "We can't leave till tomorrow." And
Oh,
of course it's quite a long travel day for them. And
yeah.
Yeah.
so yeah, but I kind of feel like I got a unique experience a little
Yeah.
bit instead of watching them having them watch their babies be born. I got to introduce them to
Yeah.
their babies. And so that's how
Oh,
I kind of like, I was bummed at first, but then that's
yeah.
how I like picture it now. Like I got to
Yeah.
go meet them in the parking garage and then bring them to the NICU and be like, meet your baby girl, meet your baby boy, and
Oh,
like get their
Wow.
reactions to meeting them like on video, which I think
wow.
was just obviously not what we had planned, but
Right.
beautiful in its own way.
Right. Right.
No,
Right.
yeah. And I
Wow.
love how you put that. Like you
Yeah.
got to introduce them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
That's
were
a
feeling well
sweet.
enough the
I know.
next day after a C-section with twins to like literally just run on down to the parking garage and
I was in a wheelchair.
oh,
Okay.
okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Let's get into perspective. All right. Because I'm like,
Okay,
whoa,
so my wife wheeled me to the
There
parking
we
garage
go.
in the
so
wheelchair, and we waited for them.
so your wife was able to be
Oh,
in the delivery room then with you for the C-section.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Good. Good.
good.
Good. Good. And then my next question is, what happened? Oh, you already said it. Babies went to the NICU, right? Right
Yes.
after
So
birth.
first they put them up by my face. So they like they made sure
Did?
they were okay, and then
Yeah.
I didn't get to hold them, but I have a photo of each baby like bundled up, put by
By
my
you.
face, and then my
Okay.
wife took a picture, like
Okay.
the first picture of me with each baby, and then
Okay.
they took them to the NICU, and then I had never had that experience before because my kids
Stayed.
um, yeah, and so I was like, where, like, I know they're not my babies, but like, they don't deserve to be alone. And like, I'm here for
Exactly.
them right now. So I was like, when do I get to go see them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then the nurse was like, as soon as you like can stand up and you get your
Okay.
feeling back in your legs, I can bring you down there. And I was like,
Oh.
well, no, I want to go now. And so
Oh.
she wheeled me down there. And I just remember like being pushed into the room. And the second I saw the baby girl, she was 3 pounds.
Oh gosh.
Oh.
My milk just like, poof,
Oh.
like,
Oh my gosh.
and I had never gotten breast milk before with my kids. So it was
No
just
way.
so bizarre.
Oh, how
Yeah, it was like my
funny.
body knew they needed it and I
Yeah.
got it and I never was able to get breast milk before that.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I just like never I'll never forget that like feeling because I'd never
Right.
felt it before. As soon
Yeah.
as I saw her, it was like whoosh. Like
Wow.
Wow,
so
crazy.
yeah.
How big
And
was
I
the baby boy?
was 4 pounds, 9.4 ounces, and she
Oh.
was 3 pounds, 13 ounces.
Oh, so she was
Wow.
almost 4. That's good
Yeah.
size
Yeah.
babies for twins.
Yeah.
And for
Yeah.
for
For
what,
being
3
33
weeks
weeks,
early?
almost 34 weeks, right?
So
33,
Yep, I
6?
was just about 30. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
33 and 6, so almost
Okay.
34 weeks. Yeah,
okay,
Wow.
right.
yeah.
That's good. How long were they in the
Wow.
NICU?
So baby girl was in the NICU for 2 weeks and baby boy was in the NICU for like 3.5 weeks. He was just struggling to swallow.
Look at that. She was
Oh,
littler. They always say the
yeah.
girls, preemie girls always, I don't know, they're just a little more of a fighters because
Yeah,
my triplet girl was the tiniest by far, and she like just ran circles around her brothers and when they were in the
that's
NICU.
what they were telling us too, that the girls are
Oh,
always the first
interesting.
ones and the boys are more
Yeah,
lazy.
yeah, they
Yeah.
are.
Oh my gosh. How funny.
It's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. So
So
you had free access. I just have one more. You had free access to the babies while you were in the hospital? Like,
Yes, and then they
okay.
also let my family, like my family could come and see them too
yay.
Very
and spend
sweet.
time with them. Yeah.
Very
That's what I was
sweet.
gonna ask. So your daughter, so when your daughter got to see them, was like she, I mean, because she
She
knew what
couldn't
surrogacy
believe
was.
oh yeah, she couldn't
Yeah.
believe how tiny they were, and she was like
Right?
telling them their papas were coming, and
Oh.
so we got to send the my intended father's pictures. Like the babies aren't lonely. Like
Oh,
between me
good.
and my wife and my daughter and my
Good.
sister, like they were getting all sorts of love, and so
Good.
yeah. And then my son was a toddler, so they were totally fine
Good.
with him just running wild in the NICU. I mean, he wasn't crazy, but like he was
Yeah.
not very chill either. So we just
Wow.
kind of took over the NICU, but
How
Oh, how
funny.
funny.
yeah.
Backing up real quick.
Okay.
When you told your family that you wanted to be a surrogate, how were their reactions?
Pretty much everyone was just instantly supportive and like wasn't really shocked by it. Like kind of just a lot of people were just like, "You're crazy, you want to be pregnant again." But like
Oh,
also not surprised because they knew how much I loved it and
Yeah.
how easy it was for me. And so I didn't get like there wasn't really a lot of questions or like I feel like people just kind of knew I was going to want to do this, and my wife was very supportive from the beginning. My sisters, I just had a really good support system throughout it. I didn't have
Great.
anyone really question me on anything.
Oh, that's
was
great.
it,
Yeah.
I need to ask you a question. Was it an idea that really became in the forefront of your mind after you were married and you guys were like thinking of having your own and you knew you wanted to do surrogacy after maybe you completed your family, or did this all come about after you had your son?
So I had thought about it before, but never seriously. So I know I don't like, I feel like maybe I feel like maybe at one point I had mentioned it to my wife that it'd be cool to do that sometime. So she
Yeah.
kind of had it wasn't a huge surprise when I brought it up, but once I had my son and we had the sperm donor situation, all that, it kind of
Yeah.
just, that's when
Solidified.
I was like, I was like, I think I'm
Yeah.
going to be a surrogate. And she's like, I was waiting for you to say that. Like
Aw.
she just
Yeah.
knows me and my heart. And she was like, yeah,
Sweet.
I kind of figured that was coming. And
Aw.
she's
Oh,
just like, I support you and whatever you want to do. So
oh,
Awesome.
that's
yeah,
sweet.
She
yeah,
sounds lovely. Like really,
Yeah.
honestly.
she is.
I need to clone her.
She really is.
Oh,
I didn't get that great of a reaction when I told my husband I wanted to do it. So
Oh,
we won't go there. I think I shared it in I have it in a different podcast, but
yes,
I
yes.
did not get
for
that big of a
podcast.
reaction.
But yeah. But okay, so dads get there, right? And babies have to stay there for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so then birth certificates are filled out, all the paperwork's done, and technically it's time to go home.
So we actually had to wait till both babies were out of the NICU. I don't know if it's because of Minnesota law or because they live in another country, but we had to wait till both babies were out of the NICU, and then we all had to be present in court for me and my wife to sign over our rights.
Really? You
So
do
hold
that
on.
after the babies are born?
The
Well,
babies have to be present in the courtroom
I've never heard that.
in our in our
In-
instance. So
Yeah, yeah.
when like we
Interesting.
literally we could not set a court date until we were able to tell them that both twins could be there.
Okay.
and you don't live in Minnesota, so you drove to Minnesota to have the babies?
So the town I live in doesn't actually have a hospital that delivers babies because it's small, but we're like there's like so the hospital that I go to for like all my OBGYN appointments and things like that and deliver is like 5-10 minutes over a bridge.
Okay.
Oh,
Like, and so you have to deliver in Minnesota. Like,
Got it.
interesting.
I've never heard of anyone being born in Superior, Wisconsin. So
Okay. How
Oh,
funny.
we have a hospital, but I don't think they do deliveries there.
yeah.
So
I'll be
Interesting.
darned.
Okay, okay.
So
So
everybody's present because
yeah.
that's a new one for me. Everybody, because we did something, this was 20 some odd years ago. We did something called a pre-birth judgment. And
oh
my
yep.
husband and I signed off our rights when I was like, oh, I don't know, 8 months, 7 months pregnant. And we went
Okay.
to court and the judge was all happy and everybody was great. And we kind of said, yeah, no, they're not ours. And everything was signed off. And then they got to take all that paperwork to the hospital. And so when the
Oh,
babies were born, on the mother, the other father's name was automatically put on there. They just did it
okay.
there. Yeah.
So I have heard of that, like a pre-birth order.
Mhm.
I feel like some states do that. And I'm not sure. I've never like asked fully why we had to go to court, but somebody mentioned to me that it might be because they live in Switzerland and
Switzerland.
that's why things were a little bit
Sure.
different. But
Okay.
so my wife and I actually had to go on the birth certificate initially. And
Oh,
so the babies had our last name for a little bit. And then we
interesting.
had to go to court and sign over the rights to
Yeah.
them and say like we came into this with this plan and
Interesting.
Right.
yeah,
And
and
so
then
then
change
they
their last name.
changed their last name and they had to get new birth certificates ordered or
Yes.
right?
Yep.
Wow.
Before they could go home
Okay.
because they had to
And
get
Okay.
passports
Yeah.
and yes,
that just seems like such more of a hassle for everybody.
yes,
Like
yes,
that's just let their names go on the paper.
And what a huge financial drain too. Like how wonderful of you all to let them live with you for 3 months. Because can you
Yeah.
imagine trying to get an Airbnb or a
Oh
hotel
my
or
gosh.
cribs? I mean, wow.
they had an Airbnb booked for when they got here, like they had it booked from like 20-week mark, like had
Okay.
it planned, and it was not that far from our house. But when they got here and everything was early, they were like, we don't like where should we
Oh,
email the Airbnb and see if we can stay there earlier because the babies came earlier? And I was like, why
Right.
don't you just stay with us until you figure it out? And then they were staying with us for that few weeks, and then it came time where they could go to their Airbnb. I'm like, why don't you just cancel it? Like, this is silly. You've already been here for how long? And
Yeah.
yeah.
it's going well. We're getting along great, and
Okay.
you might as well just stay here and save the money from the Airbnb. And
Oh,
so that's what they ended up doing. And then COVID
yeah.
happened, so then it
Right.
ended up being even longer. But
Right.
My gosh.
What an experience for you,
Yeah.
surrogate. Like
it
honestly,
was,
I would have
Seriously.
loved that. Even just a couple weeks. Like I
yes,
would have needed 3 months, but a couple weeks would have been phenomenal. And
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I don't know. The only one I would have had a relationship like that with was the triplets, and that's 3 babies. That's a lot. So
yeah.
yeah.
it was kind of like, I feel like for a few weeks I struggled a little bit because they were trying to prove to me that they could do it with that. They wanted to prove to me that they didn't need my help. Like,
Yeah.
we can
Sure.
take these babies home and do this.
Yeah.
But I was like, well, you're here, so you should let me help. And they weren't letting
Right.
me help. So then I'd come in my room and like look at my wife and be like, why won't they let me help? And I was just a hormonal mess. So I was like
Yeah.
crying, like, why won't they let me help them? Like, I just want to help them. And then I found out that it was because they were trying to show me that they could do this. And I'm like, listen, I know you can do this. You're going to be going
Yeah.
home very soon, and you're not going to have me here to help at all
Right.
times.
Right.
Right.
Let me help you.
Take
Oh.
advantage.
And then so then they started letting me help, and they'd be like, can you
Nice.
hold the baby for a second, whatever. I was like, of course I
Oh,
can.
very
Of course
sweet.
I can.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I think
Aw.
it was hard I feel like it was a little bit harder for my whole family when they left, because we all got so attached to all four of
Yeah.
them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
Yes.
it was just like having a family, it's just like having family that
Yeah.
comes to visit leave, and you don't know when you're going to see them again. It was, emotional. We all cried quite a
Yeah.
bit when they left. But
Oh.
Did you, because you said your milk came in when you saw the baby girl in the NICU. Did you pump for them the whole time they
yes.
were here? And then you didn't try to ship that, did you? To
No, so
Switzerland?
I
Okay.
just pumped for them. Like, basically, I was able to, like I said, I never was able to get milk before. So
Yeah.
I was able to pump for them, and I was getting milk until they both were out of the NICU, and then my body just stopped. So I swear it was like my body just knew
Saying, yeah, they needed
they
it.
needed it, and then it just was like, okay, you're done.
Wow.
So
That's
now for this
crazy.
like journey I'm gonna be doing, I'm like, I don't know if I'll get milk. We'll have
Right.
to wait and see.
Right.
My body just kind of decides.
Now, where is this? Is this a same-sex couple as well, or is this heterosexual?
Nope. This one's a heterosexual couple.
Okay. And are they international or here?
Nope, they live in Chicago.
Oh, there you
Oh,
go.
that's close to you.
Okay.
Yes. Not too far. Not
Yeah,
too far.
that's lovely. Okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
And is there a plan on how many embryos are going in this time?
Just one.
Okay. Yeah.
Just
It could
one.
still
Just
split.
one.
Yeah, it could
Yes,
still.
Did
it could.
you?
Yes, it could. But I just
Yeah.
my OB said she just wanted me to do like only purposely try for one
Yeah.
this time, because of the fact that I had the twins a little bit early. I'm just more at
Sure.
risk for, another premature
Right.
labor, especially with twins. So she just asked me not
Yeah.
to purposely try for twins.
That
There
was
you
nice.
go.
Are you with the
Yeah.
same agency with the
No.
second? You went to a different one. Okay. How
So
did that come
actually
about?
Independent.
I'm actually not with an agency. I'm doing independent, but my intended parents have hired an agency like as a coordinator.
Okay.
So I'm not actually signed with the agency. Um, that she just does like all the coordinating and stuff like that. So technically I'm independent.
Okay,
That's
so now a buttload of questions are coming your way.
Okay.
right.
So how did you meet them? Was it social media?
Instagram, yep.
Instagram. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you guys just like message each other, met online, and then we're like, oh yeah, we seem like a good fit. Like, let's try this.
Yeah. So I had a couple matches fall through for various
I
reasons
saw.
before that, like in between. I had one that was trying to do an independent journey. I met them on Facebook, and they just, in my heart, weren't ready, and it just felt like it was going to be I just had a sick feeling, so I had to like my heart was broken, but I had to break the match.
Sure.
And then I had another one whose RE actually rejected me as their surrogate because my son is autistic. And then so
What?
that match broke.
Whoa,
Yeah.
whoa,
Never heard
whoa,
of that.
Whoa, whoa. What does that have to do?
Yeah.
It doesn't have anything to do with surrogacy. Her reasoning was, if for whatever reason their child ever were to be diagnosed with autism, they could come back to her and blame her for using a surrogate who had a son that was autistic.
No.
So yep,
Whoa.
yep. I was absolutely
sorry.
devastated,
I'm sorry you
mainly
had
for
to
having
deal
to
with that.
protect my son. Yeah, it was
I am
horrible.
so sorry that
I'm
you even had to deal with that.
I'm
That's
so
Thank you.
sorry. That's
ridiculous.
awful.
It
That's
was rough, but it also showed me like I wouldn't have wanted
Right,
to go
right.
that route
Things happen
anyways.
for reasons.
yeah,
That's
no,
right.
exactly.
Yes. And so then I was feeling very defeated because I had two
Yeah.
matches break, and I felt like people were
Yeah.
gonna think
Oh,
like, what is wrong with this girl?
right.
And so then
Oh,
I signed with an agency.
You did.
And yeah,
Yeah.
and then I met a couple that I really clicked with, and I really my heart was fully invested, but then they wanted me to carry twins. My doctor came back and said no.
no.
They took some time to think about it, and then they decided to carry on with a different surrogate who could carry twins. And so they broke the match. So then
Okay.
I posted, anyways, all that to say, I posted that my match broke. I made a reel about it or something. And
Yeah.
my current intended mother reached out to me and was like, I'm really sorry about your match breaking, but I feel like this is my, like, I've been
Oh,
watching you. I really like want to match with you. And I feel like this is like, I would be wrong to not message you.
oh.
And so we got to talking, and that's how that match started. She was like, I'm thankful your match broke for selfish
Yeah.
reasons. So
Yeah,
yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
Do they have any children, or is this their first? This would be their first baby.
Nope. So they have a son that they had via a different surrogate
Okay.
last year, January
Oh,
last year.
oh, so they're gonna be a
Yeah.
little close if everything goes well. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
Yep. So
that's so cool.
That is cool.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
she knows what's she's kind of been around the block, as we
Yeah.
said.
Yes.
She knows
Yes.
what's expected. She knows, and she's choosing to go quote unquote independent with the surrogate. Do you know her reasons for that, or do you think it's just because the stars aligned? Your match broke, she's been following you, and she just
Well,
thought,
I believe she did it the same way with her first surrogate.
okay,
Oh,
The agency that she went with, I feel like she knows the owner through like a mutual friend or something. And so
okay.
she actually has like a quote unquote bring your own surrogate type
Yeah,
package
look
where
at that.
so she met her first surrogate on like one of the Facebook match groups. So then she did it the same way where she said, I already found my surrogate, but I need you for coordinating services. And
Okay,
this time again, she said, I found my surrogate on Instagram. I need you for coordinating services. So
great.
both times she did it the
Okay,
same way, but she doesn't know a lot about, the journey and was heavily involved in her first journey. So
yeah,
she knows, every step and everything too. So
that's great.
no, that's
yeah,
That's
awesome.
really
yeah,
nice.
yeah.
How did the hard talks go? Like all the talks that like
Oh,
they want you guys to talk about, like with
yeah,
how do you say it
Like
nice? Like
reduction.
like
No?
possible
like
determine.
selective reduction
There
and
you
things
go.
like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They actually went really well. I basically like right off the bat when we were talking about like when she was like, I want to see if this could work, I basically was like, well, then let's just like lay it all out there right off the bat.
Okay.
So then we're
Great.
not because like I said, I had already been through some broken matches and I was like
Yeah.
guarding my heart. So I'm like,
Yeah.
here's my fee schedule that I want. Here's
Fair.
my views on XYZ. And
Right.
um as far as the hard, like selective reduction or terminating for, like I said, I would never terminate for something like Down syndrome or something
Right.
compatible with life.
Mhm.
She agreed with all of those things. She
Okay.
had to take the fee schedule and obviously talk to her husband, but we made a few tweaks to it, but like we talked about it all really well, like
Oh,
very
good.
openly.
It's a great
Um,
start. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah.
Right.
yeah. There
Mhm.
was no, big issues and legal obviously we just got done with legal always feels a little icky.
I
They always
know.
make
Yeah.
you feel like you're up against each other. And
Yeah.
so it felt like that at first, like during it. And then once we
Weird.
finally talked, I was like, okay, we both felt like, okay, that's not really how it was, how it
Yeah.
was. And we
Right.
both felt a lot better. And now that's all
Good.
behind us. But
So are
Good.
you guys using the same lawyer or no? Okay, I don't know because you're technically independent, right? And she's
yeah.
with somebody. So how did a lawyer come across for you?
Yeah.
So the coordinator actually, you should still be able to get a list of lawyers that you
Yeah.
want to work with, whether you're doing independent or agency.
Okay.
But I think it's a huge conflict of interest if a surrogate is working with the same lawyer as a.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't think that's
Absolutely.
anytime a surrogate reaches out to me and is like, they want me to use the same lawyer. I'm like,
No.
absolutely not. Like,
Mm-mm.
do not let them
Nope. No.
make you do that. Like, you absolutely get to have your own lawyer. And
Yeah.
so,
Own
yeah, we had
representation. Yes.
yep, you need to do that. So yeah, I basically got to say like this is who I worked with before. I would like to work with that person again.
Oh, great.
Or they were like, here's a list of people that we like. So you can
Okay.
you get to choose.
Oh,
Yeah.
perfect.
Nice.
Okay. That's
And I
awesome.
think where you're like, here's my fee schedule. And I think
Yeah.
fee schedule for independent versus fee schedule for someone, a surrogate signed up with an agency are different. They have to be different because well, maybe they don't. Maybe I'm just saying that blanket. I feel that they might have to be different because there's a lot of expenses that kind of are wrapped under that surrogacy umbrella,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So did you
Yeah.
kind of pull them all out, or did you just kind of give a lump? I'm not looking for your compensation. I'm not looking for
No,
anything
no, no, no.
like that.
I think it's important, like I do think it's important even with agencies to like give you a breakdown of what you're being paid for, giving IPs a breakdown of what they're paying for. Like
Mhm.
I'm not a huge fan of like the package
Yeah.
amount. Like I
Mhm.
think it's good for both sides to have a broken down, like this
Yeah.
is what
Right.
you get for this. And so I kind of took my fee schedule from the agency I was signed with at the time and
Okay.
like tweaked it a little bit, but not much, and told her like, but it was all broken down. Like
Okay.
Perfect.
base
Good.
comp,
Good.
med start fees,
Good.
yeah, like it was all broken down pretty well and individually.
Right.
Oh, that's
So
great.
so for a surrogate, maybe thinking of going independent from the very first get-go, like her first surrogacy is independent. There's a lot there. There's a
Yeah.
lot there that needs to be
Yes.
unpacked on that one for that surrogate to feel like she's being supported. So I know that's
Yeah.
not what this is about, but it's very, very different. I'm just trying to get that out to the little listening audience that it's very different. If you go independent, you don't have something to kind of fall back on to say, oh, this is
Yeah.
what my fee schedule was before. And let me just tweak that a little bit and let me ask for
Yeah,
a little bit of a higher base because you don't really realize what's involved. You just don't.
for sure.
Mhm.
I definitely
You
think it's
don't.
important to talk to other surrogates.
Right.
I feel like that is always a good place to start.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably, if you're not going to go with an agency, I think it's so important to talk to other surrogates, and not just one, like a
Right.
few, because every surrogate has a different
Mhm.
experience. And then they're gonna like, even me, like working in this world, when we do our support calls on Wednesday nights, I'm learning things. Like I'm like, what do I want in my legal contract? And they're like spinning off things. I'm like, that was not in my first one. That was not in my first one. That was not in my
Right.
first contract.
Right.
And I'm like, these are such good points. Like that
Right.
makes so much sense why you would want that in there.
Yeah.
And so I just think it's important to talk to multiple surrogates when you're thinking about doing it and hearing each of their, like, what would you have done in this timeline and whatever, and just see what they say and then put all of their tidbits together.
Yep.
So then you're
Mhm.
way covered.
Yeah.
Right.
Agreed. Agreed.
No,
Wow.
absolutely.
Interesting. Wow.
Absolutely.
You are kind
So
of a
yeah,
wealth of
so
knowledge. My goodness. I love it.
jumping jumping tracks just a little bit. So um for those who don't know, you do a support group every Wednesday, right? For surrogates, and her name's
Yep.
MJ. She does them for intended parents.
Yep. So on Tuesday nights, so tonight, right, well, like in a half or no, right now,
Yeah.
she does an intended parent support call every Tuesday night from 7 to 8 Central Time. And it's completely free. Any intended parent can join, male, female. And it's audio only. So if you don't want to show your face, you don't have to show your face. And
Great.
you can just listen, or you can ask questions and be part of the conversation. And then Wednesday nights from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Central Time, I do a surrogacy support call. And so all surrogates, no matter where you are in your journey, if you're thinking about it, done being a surrogate, and you just want to hear other people's stories that are similar to yours, or you want to give your input. But it's become one of my favorite nights of the week. And I love talking
I
to all these
bet.
women, like the most supportive group of women
Right.
ever. And it's
Yeah.
just such a beautiful experience. But a lot of people get their questions answered, and
Yeah.
everyone's in different phases, but like can help somehow with other people's
Right.
journeys.
That's
And
ingenious. That really is. It's
Yeah.
ingenious because you can get your answer in real time with people who
yes,
are going through exactly what you're going through or have already been it and you're brand new. That's
Mhm.
ingenious.
yeah,
Kudos to both of you. Now, that's
Yeah.
thank you.
because
So
Thank
seriously,
you.
awesome.
ours is like taped and it goes on every Sunday and we might answer some questions, but you're like literally right there. Hey, what questions do you have?
Yeah.
And you answer.
Yes, I feel
That's
like
super
they both
cool.
help in different ways, because I feel like sometimes the Zoom calls can feel a little bit intimidating. I feel like once
Uh-huh.
someone joins it, they realize it's not so intimidating. But
Yeah.
before that, I feel like it's very, like, if they're just trying to learn information, but they don't really know who to ask, like the
Yeah.
podcasts are such a good place to start.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I feel like we've done a shout out for you guys, because people ask like, what are podcasts to hear surrogate
Aw.
stories? And I'm like, stop
Oh,
sit surrogate for sure.
Ah,
There
oh,
isn't a
thank
lot.
you.
There
Yeah.
isn't much.
No, there
There
No,
isn't
isn't.
much.
there's
Mm-mm.
and that's what's sad, because there are
Yeah.
so many people that have so many stories, and like
Yes.
I feel like we're getting a bit biased, so now I'm like, hi intended parents, because like we're all mainly
Right.
all you hear is surrogates, and so I mean, we've only had, I think, 2 intended parents on, and that was biased because
Because
they
they were
were the
mine.
dads.
Yeah.
But
Oh, yes.
yeah.
But yeah, I just think that it's very important to be like I always people are always like, thank you for being so vulnerable and like open about everything that goes on for you in these journeys. I'm like, I think it's important because I don't want
Mhm.
people to think like for a surrogate, like I don't want them to think it's a get rich quick
Right.
thing or that there's
No.
no emotions behind
Mhm.
it. Like when my matches were breaking, I was like, I hate being that person to cry on my like Insta stories, but I'm like,
For
this is
sure.
real life. Like
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
heart is broken for people I never even got to truly meet
Yeah.
Yep.
because no other there's not really a lot of other instances other than dating in your life where you're going to be able to get that connected to somebody to a stranger
Mhm.
Yeah.
that fast because of the
Right.
deep conversations you have to have, just
Yeah.
the vulnerability of the situation. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
you know, potentially I'm going to be carrying your child. Like we have to get to know each other fast and
Yeah.
like, you know, and just like bare our hearts basically. And then it's like if it doesn't work, it's painful.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
not just for the intended parents, for the surrogate
Right.
too. It's
Oh,
painful.
yes.
Oh, yeah. And that's the side that people never show
Yeah.
because
Usually not. Right.
because there's already this stigma on
Yeah.
surrogacy that people are like, oh no, it's all positive. And it's like, no, like there are
Mm.
positive things that come even out of a negative journey, but
Right.
not everything is always going to be butterflies and rainbows. Like
Of
it's still
course.
life.
Yeah.
It's
Of
still
course.
raw. Yeah.
Yeah, of course there's hard moments. And I feel like a lot of people don't think that a surrogate also would be like sad when there's like the transfer doesn't work or
Oh,
like
no,
Right.
there's a
that's heartbreaking.
miscarriage or something like
Oh,
that. Like people
heartbreaking.
think, why would the surrogate care? Because it's not their baby. And it's like because
Right.
we're as invested in this with the intended parents as
Exactly.
they are. Like we want this
Mm-hmm.
for them as badly
Right.
as they want it. And so and like we also too try to show people a lot of surrogates have had easy pregnancies and have had
Yeah.
things work out really well for them. So they're not also not used to this as and
Right.
then on top of it want this so bad for their intended
Right.
parents. It's still like
Right.
it's a roller coaster, but it's
Yeah.
worth it. But it's
It
like
is.
it's still real life. It's not like you're
Right.
slapping some money on it and it's like, oh, everything's fine. Everything's
Yeah.
so great.
No.
Like it's just
No.
yeah.
No.
That's like
Nope.
it's
Yeah. Because
yeah.
you're still processing all the emotions and all the heartache, but then you
Yeah.
also get to process all the joy and beautiful moments that happen through surrogacy as well. So,
Yes.
Absolutely.
and it doesn't necessarily have to be negative, but I don't think I've talked to any surrogate, me inclusive, that didn't have a journey that had one little thing that you had to deal with. You had to
Yeah.
deal with it and you were like, oh no. And you get through it and you have to choose to get through it and choose to go on and choose to keep that
Mhm.
relationship and keep building it stronger, regardless of what that issue was.
Yeah. I
If
think
both
it's
sides agree. Yeah.
yeah, of course. I think it's really, really important to share the ups and downs of it too, because I I feel like I've heard people jump into wanting to be a surrogate and then being like, "Oh, I didn't realize that it took
Right.
this many appointments and this many
Right.
Right.
steps and that it
Mhm.
was going to be this time consuming and this stressful." And it's like, well, it's not
Mhm.
just like you sign, you get the money, you pop a baby out. Like this is not how
Exactly.
Right.
this works. Like
Right.
of
Mm-mm.
course there's a lot of appointments and but like it's all worth it
Yeah.
Yes.
in the end, like
Right.
and not even in the end, like it, the
During.
appointments get less and less. Yeah,
Yeah.
during it becomes
Uh-huh.
worth it.
Mhm.
And then it's like
Yeah.
you're gonna wish that you were like, I don't know. I just feel like if you of course there's a lot of appointments. Of
Yeah.
course it's not just like you wake up and you're pregnant and it's all easy.
Right.
Like
Right.
I don't I just that's why I'm like very open about like this is what it entails. This is how many medications I have to take because
Wow.
like but I'm still happy about it.
Yeah.
It's still worth
Yeah.
it. Do I like needles?
Yes.
F no. But like
No.
this is what
No.
we get at the end.
Do you give
Exactly.
yourself
No.
your own shots or does your wife?
No,
Your wife does
my
it?
wife.
Yeah.
She like calls herself a doctor now
I
because she's
love it.
like gotten so good at yeah, all
Oh
of
my
them. And
gosh.
so she
Great.
does
That's
them
funny.
all. I'm like, my goal of this journey is to try to do one of my shots just so I can say
Oh,
I did it because I feel like all the surrogates who do their own are such badasses.
oh
And I
my
want to be
gosh.
badass too.
So funny. Well, the
No.
Lupron,
I'm
don't you give the
yeah,
Lupron in
you
your
do that in your
tummy?
stomach, right?
Yeah, and it's a very like an insulin sized needle.
It's
So I'm like,
super teeny.
maybe I could start with that.
Yeah. Start with that one.
I
Yeah.
really don't think I could talk myself into doing the PIO. I really don't.
Oh, those are so big.
I
Ooh,
know.
yeah,
I
those
know.
are big.
I'm covered in tattoos, but I cannot handle like
Oh,
Oh
needles
my gosh.
actually.
Yes. I'll
It's
go get a
different.
tattoo. I
Yeah,
just won't do a shot.
it's
oh
different.
man. It's
It
way
is
different.
different.
Way different.
It's
Wait,
different. So yeah, I don't do my own. Nope. But
okay.
I'm hoping to.
Okay, well, more good luck
Aw.
to you on that one. I
I
hope
think
you
you.
succeed. I hope you succeed.
Funny.
I used to take a piece of chocolate and have my little mark on my butt and then suck on the chocolate and then put the needle in my butt. So it was like a rewarding thing because I had the chocolate. And every time I got a shot, I knew I was getting chocolate. I was trying to
No.
convince myself it was
You did it
rewarding.
yourself?
Every single shot. Every
Badass.
single one.
She
I
did
did all
all her
hers.
shots and she did all my shots.
Yeah.
Freaking badass. No, I cannot.
Hers
I
were
cannot.
fun because it wasn't me. It was like, yes. Nah,
So
I was nice.
Oh my
I was
God.
nice.
she's like, that's what you get for the teenage years.
There
Right.
you go. There you go.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, no, I
Pretty
do
much.
not enjoy them at all.
Yeah, they were
Oh.
fun. And then you get all those knots. It's like, oh, yeah,
Yes.
not fun. Not fun.
Yes.
What else you got on
but-
your list, Ken?
worth it.
Oh, okay. Well, what is something that you wish would have not happened or you had more
Oh.
knowledge on prior to your journey?
Oh gosh, I was looking at this question. I was like, what am I gonna say? I guess if I like had to go back for my first journey, the only thing I would say I wish didn't happen would be that I wish that my intended fathers could have been here for the twins delivery.
Yeah.
That's
Um,
fair.
and what I wish I had more education on was really all of it.
Yeah.
I would never ever tell a surrogate to do what I did and just like sign up knowing hardly anything. Like now I like preach all the time about asking questions and doing your research. And so I just think I really had no idea what to expect for any of my journey the first time. And I just got
Right.
lucky that it went really well. So
Yeah.
I wish I
Yeah.
had been more educated in all of it and known to
Yeah.
ask more questions. I feel like I was very like the agency told me this is what's happening. I was like, okay,
Okay.
cool.
Yeah.
Where now this time I got a lot of questions.
There you go. I love it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I got a lot of questions this time. But before I was like, okay, that's what I need to
Yeah.
do. That's great. You want me to wait 3 months for an answer? Sure. Now I'm like
Oh,
following up every hour. No,
right. Exactly.
yeah,
that's
I just
funny.
definitely would have been more educated all
Yeah.
around. All around.
Is
Yeah, no.
kind of piggybacking on that, is there something that you wish a fellow surrogate would have told you or like could have given you advice on before you started your journey? Like just anything.
Did you know surrogates or did you have a community of people you knew that before you
No.
did it? Right now.
No, I was able to ask questions. So the one surrogate who had told me about the agency that she lived in my area, but she was a surrogate many years before
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So I guess I don't know. I didn't have a surro community, but I'm trying to think what something would be that I would want to know.
Or just
Well,
just
maybe
like anybody from an agency, just like heads up, like the shots aren't gonna be fun, or just like something that like you didn't
I feel like I would
really.
want a heads up on legal, like
Yeah.
on legal feel like I definitely think it's important to know
Yeah.
that like your intended parents aren't coming at you and like
Right.
you guys aren't against each other and the legal teams may make you feel like that, but and it can be very heavy, but just because
Yeah.
legal is heavy and like legal jargon is just not fun, it's exhausting and it's a long process,
Yeah.
like doesn't mean the whole journey is going to be like that. Like I feel like a lot of surrogates,
Yeah.
even intended parents, get very defeated during legal.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
like once it's over, it's like it's kind of just like you get to move on from that. You don't even really have to talk about it anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
'Cause
agree with
you have
that.
to
It
kind of
always
pick apart. You got to pick apart
Yeah.
every single little aspect that might be happening. And a surrogate during legal is allowed to ask for things, not
Yes.
like the
Totally.
kitchen sink, but just is allowed to ask for things, such
Yeah.
as an hour after the baby's born. I want
Yes.
time. My children have to say goodbye. I want my family to get closure. Like you're allowed to ask because
Yeah.
we've talked to different agencies and some have it in there and some do not.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
Mhm.
I just think that it's I feel like I learned this a lot with this current legal that I went through. It's just like when you can explain yourself, like I'm asking for this because XYZ, and they can hear the heart behind it and why you're asking it. It is so different than when the lawyer takes what you said, puts it in like the shortest, briefest sentence.
Right.
Like they're asking
Right.
this, no questions. Like you don't get to ask any questions about it. Here it is. It looks so much more harsh.
Yeah.
It does.
Like coming from
it does.
seeing it like that on a legal contract or the way a lawyer writes it than how I actually like asked it or explained it or said it, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And so that's why I feel like it's important to remember that like even if you're not allowed to discuss it with your intended parents, like just know that they're probably feeling the same way you are, and it's just like an icky feeling during
Yeah.
legal. but it'll be
Yeah.
over and then it'll
be
be
over.
all better.
That's
Yeah.
right. That is
Yeah.
right. Harry, you
So
do
is
you
that
have
the
to get a wait, one more, Ken. For this second journey, is it a plan C or are you gonna try to go VBAC?
I'm gonna try to do VBAC.
Oh,
I'm
girl.
they said
I
I was
love
a
it.
good candidate for it, so I'm
Awesome.
hopeful that I don't have to have another C-section,
Yeah.
but of course whatever ends up being the healthiest. But
Yeah. No, all the
yeah.
good positive vibes. Hopefully
Thank you. I'm
hopefully
very,
you do
very,
it.
very hopeful for VBAC.
Yes. Good job.
Seriously.
Yes.
So, is your advice to a surrogate who would be asking you for some, would that be considered your legal advice, or is there something else that you'd want to add to it?
Well, that would be my advice on legal, like not my legal advice, but my advice
No, yeah.
about legal. Yeah, I was like,
Yeah. No.
And then
Don't be afraid to speak up. Like, I think a lot of surrogates
Sure.
feel like they can't speak
Ellen,
up.
I wasn't asking
Sorry.
you the
I'm
question.
sorry.
Ellen.
I'm sorry.
No, I completely agree with that. And I think that not all surrogates, but I feel like a lot of surrogates are very yes people. Like they want to give, they're givers and they want to give everything. And like no is not a big word in their vocabulary. And so I feel like it's very hard. And I'm the first person to be like, I can't say no to somebody or I can't stand up for myself. But then when a surrogate's like, my intended parents want me to do this or whatever, I'm like, no, stand your ground. Like you
Right.
tell them this is what you want, or if this means a lot to you, you need to stand your ground and ask for it and don't give up.
Good.
And so I do think it's important that like we have to get a backbone sometimes so that we're not totally walked all over.
Yeah.
I don't think that everyone in this community, like in the surrogacy world, wants to walk all over surrogates, or I feel
No.
like intended parents get walked all over sometimes too.
Yeah.
I just think it's important to stand your ground if something is important to you and in your heart you know that it wouldn't feel right
Yeah.
for you, you're gonna have resentment. Like you have to, and then you don't have as beautiful of a journey as you want to have if there's resentment on either side.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. We all have a voice. We can all use it. It's okay.
Yes.
Just
Okay.
and there's always a way to say something respectfully. Like
Yes.
you don't have it, nothing has to come off demanding. Like you said with
No.
like the legal papers and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it comes off very
Just
harsh.
yeah, I think it's just important to yeah. I mean, I think it's very important to say what's important to you because otherwise it can make you start to feel sick and then you feel like icky about your match and then it's like the whole journey will be like tainted.
Yep.
Yes.
And that's not how
Absolutely.
anyone wants their journey to be.
No.
No, not at all.
Mm-mm.
Oh my
You
gosh.
don't want to have to do another journey to kind of repair from the trauma from the first one. That's
Yes,
not the
or
goal.
be scared of doing any
Correct.
more and having
Right.
that be
Yeah.
your only surrogacy experience.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Agreed.
I know. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I can't wait to follow this one and and like
Yeah, this
see
will be
how
very
great
excited.
this can
Do
be.
I not have an Instagram? No, I have I do have an Instagram, I thought.
You
Maybe
have an
I'll-
Instagram, but
Yeah.
the fact that you have
Yeah,
to
you
ask
got-
if you have an Instagram
Yeah, I'll
shows how
figure
much
that
you
out.
use it.
Whatever. It's
Yeah,
fine.
you got to get on Instagram.
If I'm not on there, I'll go, I promise.
Okay.
And I'll start following people. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, somebody asked
Yes.
a question the other day and you had to text it to me. and
I
had to,
did
like,
because they were like,
respond.
I have a question for Ellen.
I had to respond.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Ashley, is there anything else that you want to share or talk about?
I
Anything.
don't think so. I
No.
don't think so. I'm just really thankful for you guys having me on, and
Oh
it
my
was
God.
so fun to talk to you guys.
Thank
Oh my
you.
gosh, no,
Gosh,
thank
this
you
is-
for taking the
Anytime.
time. I know it's
Yes,
later there.
you're busy
Oh,
and
it's
it's
okay. It's only
nighttime.
7:40. That's
Oh,
okay.
okay, that's
Oh my
not
gosh.
bad.
It's not
Okay.
that late. No, it's not that late.
Okay.
And I'll have to come back and chat with you after my next journey.
I know. Oh my
Please
gosh, I'm so
do.
excited.
Please do.
I
wanna
know, and
hear
I'll want to know your experience from going with a
Independent.
same-sex couple to a heterosexual couple, because
Yeah.
my experience was drastically different. And
Mhm.
so, I mean, I'm
already-
excited to see yours. I'm excited to see the relationship bond that you're going to have with a heterosexual couple.
Yeah, that's one of the things I was excited about. I feel
Yeah.
like my intended fathers were amazing and they were
Yeah.
so supportive of me, but I just feel like a woman knows what you're going through differently. So I just thought
Mhm.
maybe like this journey will be different. Like, and she's been through IVF and
Right.
stuff herself, so I feel like
Right.
she knows kind of what I'll be going through. And
Yeah,
exactly.
I don't know, I'm very curious to see, but so far our relationship has been really great and really close.
love
We
it.
talk all day every day so far,
Aw.
so
Yeah.
hoping it keeps going like that. But yeah,
Oh, I
it's been
do
really
too.
great.
Good
I
for
know. Oh, yay. I'm excited
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
Thank
this
you
is gonna
so
be
much for coming
awesome.
on.
Yes.
Seriously,
Of course.
thank
Thanks for
you.
having
Thank
me.
you so
God.
much.
I'm
It's
gonna see
our-
you on Instagram, Ellen.
Okay, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Get my little handle. I'll go have my husband help me.
Oh my God. It's really easy.
Bad. I know. It's bad. I'll figure it out.
Well, follow me on Surrogacy of Hope and The Biggest Ask.
Yeah,
Okay.
there you go.
Shameless plug. My shameless plug of The Biggest
No,
Ask. I
no,
always do
actually,
it.
Actually,
no.
plug 'em.
Actually, I actually wanted to ask. So, if somebody wants to
Phone call.
get what?
Like if somebody
I'm
wants to go on that
speaking.
support phone call, sorry.
Speaking.
Sorry.
If somebody wants to get a bigger surrogacy community with you guys, you know, because you guys do the support meetings and you guys have a lot of surrogates and even IPs, how do they get in contact with you guys?
So you can follow us on Instagram on The Biggest Ask. We are on Facebook as well, but not as prominent as we are on Instagram. We also have a website, which is www.thebiggestask.com. We have free, why am I blanking on the word? Free like
Support?
resources and
Oh, yeah.
courses for people to take that could basically walk you through an entire surrogacy journey in the US and like what to do. We have a blog on there and a forum for like questions and things like that. And then we have the support calls, which if you go on our Instagram, there's a link in our bio to sign up for either the surrogate or the intended parent support calls. And then you just get a link and you join it every week.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
Awesome.
I love that. Oh my
Great
God,
information.
you guys went ham on all of it. Like you guys have everything. That's fantastic.
No, I think that's
Honestly.
lovely. Really, seriously. That's a
Oh my
lot of
gosh.
support, a lot of resources.
Yeah, the website's pretty amazing. So I definitely recommend checking that out, especially if you're trying to figure out where to start. We have the IP matching list on there too. If surrogates are looking for a match, we have intended parents on there who have posted their stories with us looking for a match.
Yeah.
So all of that is on the website and our Instagram, but
Very
Wish I could
awesome.
still be doing this. I wish I could still be a
We
surrogate.
know.
Man.
we know, she says, we know. I
Oh,
hear about it
whatever.
all the time.
Fine. Okay.
Ay, ay, ay. Oh my gosh. Thank you so
To
much,
your daughter,
Ashley,
which is
honestly.
amazing. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You have a
thank
good rest of your
you.
evening, Ashley.
You too. It was so good talking to you guys.
Yes,
Good luck with your
same.
new journey and your meds
Yeah.
on Monday.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yes, and your transfer, because it's
Yes.
gonna happen the day after this airs. So
Yes.
everybody,
The
sticky
transfer
Yeah,
vibes.
wish me
happening
luck.
the day
Sticky
after.
vibes.
Okay.
Sticky
Sticky,
vibes.
sticky, sticky. All right, honey.
Okay, bye guys.
Take care.
Bye.
See ya.
Oh, she's a delight. I love
Oh,
her.
wow. She was super fun. Love
Yeah.
that.
I know. And all the resources that they have and
I am-
everything, that's fantastic. Oh my gosh.
Going on that website,
Mhm.
like just to even just see what's out there because it's phenomenal.
Yeah, no,
The
it's
biggest ask.
fantastic.
That's a very cool title.
Yeah,
Very cool.
the biggest ask. So yeah.
Yeah, I know what it is. I got you.
I was like, do I need to spell it for you? But no.
No,
it's okay.
I totally have it for me. Maybe.
Okay. Well, I don't know because you're going to be new to Instagram and stuff.
Oh my Lord. That is on, she said that was a website is the biggest.
Yes, I know, but their
Yeah.
name is the biggest ask
I
on.
got that.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna go check out the website first.
Oh, okay.
Get
We're
my
gonna be
feet
old
wet,
school.
and then
Sure.
I'll go forward.
Sure.
Doesn't matter. Leave me
Oh,
be.
good.
All
I'm
right.
here to support you.
Thank you so much. It's about
Yeah,
time.
women supporting women.
About time. Okay,
Okay.
go for it.
Okay.
What do you got to say?
I don't have to say much except that if anybody
too.
wants to share
Yeah.
their stories, if you're IP surrogates, anybody IVF, anybody that has anything to say about surrogacy or talk to us, or
Yes.
if you guys have questions or anything like that, please feel free to reach out to me. Guys, oh, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, I guess because that's when they'll be right before Christmas. Yeah, this is airing right before. Yes, happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, and Merry Christmas. All of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And Boxing Day if you're into that, and if you're over in England, okay.
Oh, how fun. Look at you
Yeah.
knowing things.
I do know things. All right. So hey, it's been Stop, Sit, Surrogate with Kennedy and Ellen. Take
Bye,
care,
guys.
everybody. Bye.